All right, guys. Welcome back to another live show. Today we have a fantastic guest. We have Jerimiah Fountain, the founder of On the Trail of Cryptid and Paranormal Research Facebook group and On the Trail of Living Legends YouTube uh, channel. How you doing tonight, Jeremy?
I'm doing great, Blake. It's good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. We tried to have several shows with you that unfortunately had technical issues on both our sides at one time, and on mostly my side. And I call it we were getting jammed and just totally zapped. But
Yeah, it happens.
tonight we finally got you on the show and got a few things to talk about. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah. Well,
What got you started? What was your first encounter? How did you get in all this high strangeness that you've
I've been,
encountered?
to be honest with you, I've been infatuated with this stuff since I was 7 years old. My mom bought me Mysteries of the Unexplained when I was about 7, 8, and I was flipping through it and I saw a picture of Patty, and that was it. I was saying to myself, "What is that? That's pretty neat," And ever since then, and just became infatuated. And we own 250 acres, and there's been a family group down there that comes around every year. So pretty familiar with them. My first face to face encounter though, it was hunting. I was hunting and I was in my tree stand and something felt weird, and I walked down, and started walking back down the trail, and get about quarter mile from my truck, and I see these eyes peek around behind an old tractor that my dad had down there, and they were like an amberish color, and I'm thinking to myself, what's that? I've never seen eyes like that, and they were perfectly round, and that popped back behind. So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden it sticks its whole head around, wraps its arm around the tractor as well, and I can see a hand, and I can see the face. And at that point, I'm not gonna lie, it made me extremely nervous. I didn't know what I was looking at, man. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what I was looking at. So after a few seconds, it hopped to a tree. Okay, now let me explain this. This is what is impressive. This shows you how athletic these things are. I don't think a lot of people realize it. Now, if it was at the front of the tractor, the leap to this tree would have been about 12 to 15 feet. Okay. If it had itself at the back of the tractor, you're talking close to 20. This thing came out and just took a leap, and it leaps from behind the tractor, hits that log, and it propelled. It didn't even, You know, when you jump, you swing your arms, you duck, you bend
Mhm.
down. No, this thing propelled itself off its toes very easily.
Wow.
And at that point, I just I didn't know what to do, you know. And when it hit that log, it propelled itself to a tree, which was another 15 feet away, popped behind the tree, poked its head around, looked at me again, and then it came out, stood in front of the tree, and it stared at me, just looked at me. And I'm thinking to myself, someone's orangutan get loose, you know. Um, so I had no intentions of shooting. I'm not pro kill. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's not me unless it's in self defense. You know,
Yes.
I
Exactly.
did want, but I did want to get a look at it. And this is before I knew anything. I was in a new investigation at that point. Um, it was probably a stupid mistake, you know, to raise a rifle and take a peek through the scope. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what
I
I
would
mean?
say so. Yeah. It could be. Could be very dangerous.
Yeah, and it was
It's the
only
situation, though.
yeah. I mean, and this thing was only about 4 feet tall, 4.5 feet tall, and I'd say people ask me how much it weighed, and if I had to guess, I would say about a buck 85. And people say, "Well, that's not that big." Well, for 4 feet, that's pretty
It's
put
big.
together.
That
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And it was an auburn red. You know, I had the light on it, I had the scope on it. I finally put it down, and it went back behind the tree, and bang, it took off. Now, what I've always thought they did was when they get behind a tree, because this is happening more than once. You get behind a tree, they know the exact angles to run. You know, so you
Oh
can't
yeah.
see. You know that as well as I do. They know the exact angles. So that here I am thinking, did I just see a Bigfoot? You know, and from that point on, I got into investigating a little bit, and not heavy like I am now, but a little bit. So then in 2007, I was back down, and I wanted to do some repairs on my tree stand. You know, so as I'm down there, I fixed it up, and I said, why not? I'll sit for a little bit. You know, so got up in the tree stand and sat there, and again, man, I just had an uneasy feeling, very uneasy, and that tree that tree stand overlooks a spring, beautiful spring. You can see the white quicksand bubbling, and you can drink out of it all year round. I think that's one of the reasons they like it so much down
Yeah.
there.
Clean water.
Absolutely. That brings in the prey, and that brings them in, and you know what I mean. So
Exactly.
anyway, I said to myself, I'm gonna get out of here, and I had my 30 out six on me, and as I get out of the tree stand, I'm walking, and I had about 30 yards to go before I hit the actual spring, and I get I get to a certain spot about the middle of the spring, and I see this tree, and I say to myself, that tree was not there before. What's going on? Am I hallucinating? Am I going crazy? All of a sudden, the tree turned and looked at me, and it was a female, and she was big, and she was actually standing in the water, um, breasts and all, but she was younger. She wasn't older like a Patty. Um, maybe she hadn't bred yet, so like her breasts didn't sag, you know,
Right.
that,
Right.
that level. Who knows? I don't know. I don't pretend to be an expert, but
no, none of us are. But
right,
so
exactly.
that's what it seemed like to you, is that she was a bit younger, or
Right, but she was big. She was big.
yeah.
So she's standing in the water, and I noticed the water went up about, I don't know, I'd say 6 inches below the knee. Okay, and from that point up, I would say 7.5 feet, and she must have weighed 600 pounds. And she gave me a look, and the look was pretty intense. And I see the eyes roll over and look at the barrel of the gun over my shoulder. And that didn't make her too happy. And I got to credit one of my partner, Sean Wilson, for this. If you ever seen the movie Tombstone, where he said, "You gotta skin that smoke wagon," that's that's the look she gave me. You either skin that smoke wagon, or you know, um,
Pretty intense, yeah.
very intense. And Blake, if I even if I wanted to rip that off my shoulder and give her one, I wouldn't have. She would have gotten to me first, no doubt, no doubt. But I stood there, and my bodily functions let loose. And I think when she realized we had reached a mutual agreement that I wasn't going to mess with her, and she decided she wasn't going to mess with me, she took one leap onto the bank and then went 63 feet in 3 leaps. Which is because me and a few buddies went back
20 feet a
2
leap.
days later. Huh?
20 foot a leap.
About, yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean, that's unreal, especially for something that large. I mean, people don't realize sometimes how athletic they are, So
Right, exactly. I mean, they do things that we just can't fathom until you see it.
right. The strength, the speed,
Agility, stealthness.
it's unreal. It's just unbelievable. I've seen some
It really
unbelievable
is.
things, and at that point, man, I needed answers. I needed the answers bad. That's when I got into it heavy, the investigating heavy. I teamed up with a pretty well-known researcher. I'm not going to say his name over the radio. I don't know if he'd want that, but I ran his stuff for a while. And then after a few years, I realized it was time to, go out on my own. And it was the best thing I did, because I've experienced so much and realized so much. There's so much more to these creatures than people think. There's so much more. I've experienced. I was one of those guys that thought that, okay, there's some form of primate. I don't think so anymore. I don't know what they are, but I know they're way more than that. I know they are way more than that. I do think they're flesh and blood, but they're more than an ape. That's for sure.
Yeah, being a hominid, or even a cave dweller, basically being
Right,
caveman, would be above an ape. These
right.
things we don't know what intelligence level, but I definitely think more than an ape. Um, just say how much. I mean, we don't know. I mean, the
Right.
natives say like a people, but
I
because
mean, the intelligence level is through the roof.
right.
You know, So yeah, so that was my second encounter in 2006, 2016. Stacy and I, we moved down to the land. We lived off the grid for a year, and that is when we had a lot of action. A lot of action. She actually had an encounter with what we think was the alpha. Um, she went berry picking and came back, and she's like, "You're not gonna believe what I saw." And I said, "Well, tell me." And she told me, and I said, "Well, show me where it was." And she told me how big it was. I didn't believe her, you know. So we got there, and she pointed. She is like right there, that tree, and he walked under that limb. So I had brought in the tape, and I told her, I stood up on the four-wheeler, told her to hold the tape, and ended the tape on the ground, and I brought it up to the bottom of the limb, and that was 10'6". And she said he only cleared it by about 2 inches. So he used it. That's a beast. That's big.
They are. I mean, they get that big. They're
huge.
The eyewitness report. Yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's big. And then I had another encounter that summer too with a black one. But it wasn't a close encounter. He was actually running, and as he was running through the marsh. And I had a buddy with me who can collaborate all this. He got about 50 yards away from us and hit all. I'm assuming he hit all fours, because a few seconds later, about 100 yards straight down, he pops up, jumps out of the marsh, and keeps going.
Yeah. Wow.
So I mean, yeah, it was a pretty cool. It was a pretty intense summer, and we had some other issues that summer as well. I was never a believer in the whole Dogman thing. I kind of blew it off, but I can't. No.
Same here.
I know what I've seen. People may call us crazy. I don't care. We know what we've seen. We were actually on a four-wheeler ride, and we were going down the trail, and there's a tree that had been pushed over on the trail, and I didn't think anything of it. Okay, so I went around it, did about another 100 yards down the trail, and there's another one. And I'm starting to think, okay, that's a little bit weird, So I went around that one as well. The same distance down the trail, and there's another one. I said, okay, something's going on, So what I'll do a lot of the times, I'll take pictures of the wood line, because a lot of the time, you know what I mean? You won't notice them until you go over your footage, and then you'll notice something, So I sent the picture to one of my buddies that I did research with, and he goes, "Get the hell out of there now." And I said, "Why? What's up?" And he's like, "Just do it. Call me when you get back to the house. Analyze that picture." So we get back to the camper. We get back to the camper, and I'm going through it. I'm looking at it, and camouflage behind the tree, you can see the head of a canine-looking being. Very, I think I sent you the picture last night.
I think so, yeah.
And and that was weird. That was really weird. And we had a lot of pounding on the side of the camper, and we thought it was the Sasquatch messing with us, but it wasn't. I think it was that thing. But as I was saying one night, we something slapped the side of the camper and just about knocked it over, and then we hear something grunt and start walking our way, and we felt a slam against the side of the camper, and it shook it hard. We heard another grunt, and we never had a problem with it after that. So I don't know if one of the Sasquatch took care of it or not. I don't know, but we never had a problem with them again. I know they do not come around when the Sasquatch are here, but they were here this winter. The Sasquatch take off in April, take off in November and come back in April. So these damn things were here this winter. They'd come to our bed. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So you definitely think they don't get along, or they don't.
I think that's what I think. That's what I think. I know a lot of people say they've seen them together,
but they're in the same areas for sure, though.
Oh,
from your observation,
without a doubt. But I know here they won't come around when the Squatches are here. And we've got one. We've got a Sasquatch, a red one, who will come and sit outside the window for a while, and I keep thinking, damn, is that the one I saw when he was a juvenile? Same color and all, it just makes you wonder. It does. We did have one more Dogman encounter, but it was different. It was different looking than the other one. It looked more canine. I was in shock at first. We're going down the road, and it was about midnight, and we were about to pull in to where we were staying in the camper, and I saw this thing it was leaning against a tree. A real arrogant stance, real arrogant look. I said, Stacy, slow down. You're gonna hit that guy on the side of the road. She said, that's no guy. And she stopped, and it took a leap, hit the middle of the road, and then it leaped again on our side of the property. And that was pretty intimidating, pretty intense. But that was the only time we had an issue, that sighting. It didn't give us any problems or anything. Because it was summer, the Sasquatch was there.
Still,
it was still intense.
So get into like how did it look? Was it like bulky werewolf style, really muscle bound, or was it like a natural wolf that was standing up type of a look?
No,
did you get a look on like hands? Were they wolf hands, human hands?
Human hands, man. That's the reports we get up. That's the reports I get up here. Built like a professional basketball player. Real lean, but muscular. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Very
we got a. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say very athletic looking.
Yeah, same here. It seems like. So yeah, I did get the pictures from last night. You sent me a daytime picture of I think Sasquatch, and 2 nighttime pictures, right? Which one's the Dogman? Nighttime ones.
Yeah, I sent you a video of a bunch of Dogmen too that we took in North Carolina.
Right.
That one's hard to make out, but you can, and then that's okay. That's something. Okay, that's something different altogether.
Oh, okay. That was
We can get into it if you want, though. And that
that's
okay,
is that the
that's the
Dogman picture?
that's the reptilian.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the
okay, well, okay. I guess it. I didn't. My it's not showing up on my end. I guess
okay.
I only
Yeah,
got 3 pictures from you.
yeah. Well, they this winter they'd leave their handprints on the windows. Um, they'd stick their face right to the window, you know, and stare at us. And one of them, I think I may have sent you this one. Had its eyeballs on Stacy, big time, and it looked like what it looked like was Anubis, the Egyptian god, half
Yeah.
jackal, half. That's what it looked like, man.
Wow.
That's what it looked like. And then there was a black one as well, and he was notorious for coming to the window and just sitting there staring. I got a buddy specialized in Dogman, and he told me, lasers hurt them. They bother them. So he said, "Listen," he's like, "take your assault rifle, put the laser right between his eyes, and he'll take. It's going to end one of two ways. He's either going to take off, or he's going to come through that window." And I said, said to myself, and I said to Stacy, I'm not going to put up with this all winter. I'm not going to do it. He comes through the window, grabs onto me. I'll do my best to put him down, So I turned that laser on. I put it right between his eyes, and he let out a beller, turned around and took off. But we kept getting harassed. House being pounded on, handprints on all over the windows. Yeah, just crazy stuff, man. Just crazy stuff, and we experienced a lot of other weird stuff too. When we were in North Carolina, some weird stuff. That reptilian for one,
Yeah, we can go into that if you want to.
Yeah, well, 2 nights before we saw a great Sasquatch, and I had Stacy with me, and I had my stepdaughter and a friend of hers, and the angle I was at, I can see him coming out of the swamp, and we were underneath an old train trestle, and I had the light, and my stepdaughter and friend started screaming, and that's when I noticed them. I was like, "Sit down, calm down. You got to calm down, be quiet." And he didn't even look our way. And they're built a lot different down there. A little bit shorter, a little bit bulkier. Almost looks like they have a beer belly, but DML, it's all muscle. The only thing I noticed about them was the blue eye shine, and I think that's the one that followed us out on that night on that video I showed you. But he didn't give us a problem. He just walked up to the hill and walked away. Just walked away. He didn't want any problems, Still, I mean, every time whenever you see one, it is intimidating. It is. It's something we're not used to. It's not like seeing a deer or a coyote or whatever.
Right, it's unexpected, and you're kind of in shock and in a state of awe where you can't fathom what's going on because it's not in your paradigm to register it.
Exactly. And the night I caught that thing on film, like I said, I didn't notice it until afterwards. But as I was filming, we were hearing a clicking, click, almost like dolphin sonar.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. I know that noise. Yep, like dolphins make
yeah,
kind of a clicking noise like that.
absolutely. And we did notice the lights. You know, um, some weird lights. You know, and that would have been after that thing walked under the bridge. We were on top of the trestle, and when I got to analyzing the video and the still shots I took, that's when I noticed it. And you know, who knows how? I mean, the strength that thing had to have. I mean, even God, any hunter knows that grown man can't carry a deer. You know, so the power of
Right.
that thing had to carry whatever that is. I think it's a hog myself. Um, it must have been unreal, even if it wasn't a big one. You know, so um,
So so you're out there. So go over this picture and stuff. So this is a still image from a video that you
yeah,
took. Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So this is in North Carolina, you said,
yes.
and you're in this woods or a swampy area?
Heavy swamp. Yeah,
Yeah, and they have these reports of these lizard creatures. These lizard
yes,
men and reptilian type of swamp creatures that lived in the swamp.
yes.
Uh, that's amazing that you encountered one. Now, did you have any ominous feelings? Did you have anything
Oh
paranormal
yeah,
going on, or just when
yeah.
you had this encounter going on?
Yeah, even when I didn't know, it was, what I was. Again, I was filming. You know, when I there, didn't, when I was looking through the camera, nothing was there. But I still had a weird feeling. You know, and when I got back home, I realized what I caught in film, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't show anyone for the longest time because, you know, hey, you're nuts. And, I know I say I don't care, but, that was one thing, I wasn't really ready to show. And it took me, I mean, you're one of the first people that I showed that to. You're one of the first people. And, yeah, man, in the video, you see it just walks, it's walking in the water, carrying that thing, and it walks under the bridge. And that's when all these lights come down and start swirling around. It was just
What do you
weird.
What do you think was going on in that whole situation with the lights and just what was going on? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm one of those researchers that's not afraid to admit I have no clue. I don't like to speculate. I mean, they extraterrestrial or I don't know. I don't know.
Well, exactly. I mean, are they spiritual? Are these things connected? Are they all spiritually connected, or I mean, what's going on? They seem like they're doing the same type of behavior.
You're right. Right.
I mean, that's kind of a weird aspect that they're all kind of doing the same stuff
The
and messing
same.
with people in the same certain ways.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, if they're different species, shouldn't they be doing different things, different temperaments, aggressions, different moods and appetites, instincts that maybe they can't control? Like you would think a Dogman would not be able to.
Right.
Maybe a
Right.
monster. I know what I seen looked pretty natural, looking just like a wolf when it was on all fours until it stood up. But if this creature's roaming the countryside, it's being very tame and intelligent and not attacking, say, children out playing because it's like a cat with a ball that's running. It's
Right.
in control. It seems like, at least my opinion, that they're in control of their instincts and their gut
Yeah.
instincts to prey upon food and easy prey and stuff like that. In some circumstances, of course, we have missing people, but for the
Right,
most
right.
for the most part,
For the most part, yeah. Like a Sasquatch. I mean, we sat there one
exactly,
night.
exactly.
We sat there one night, and I'm gonna say one thing: people that think, and I was one of those people for years, man. I thought, you have to shine a light in their eyes to get eye shine. No, it's not what I experienced. We, Stacey and I were sitting on the bridge, and we heard movement coming out of the bayou. You could hear a couple of them in the water walking, a couple of them on the side, a couple of them on the other side. And when they got close, bang. A couple of them had red eye shine. A couple of them had fluorescent blue. One of them had greenish.
Wow.
And another one of them, the other ones had like an amberish, like the juvenile I saw. And they didn't bother us. They just kept walking. They walked under the bridge as well. And we were one day we're walking out and walking out of that our spot, and I can hear something walking next to us, and I look and I see these red eyes. So I took some pictures, and in the pictures you can see these red eyes. Two sets, two of them staring at us. I don't know if they're trying pacing us out to make sure we laughed, but that trestle, okay, there was two trails, one on one side, one on the other, and the first time I walked down, it led to a river, and I sat there a while, and all of a sudden, from one side of the river, which was about 80 feet, comes this boulder, and it hit the water right in front of me. Boom! I said, okay, that's not good. And then from behind me, another one comes. Boom! So, needless to say, I got up and I exited the area. And in that area, I found all sorts of bones with humanoid teeth marks on the bones. I've actually got some of them.
Awesome.
And one of them I've got has claw marks. That's what they look like to me, and they go down into the bone about a half an inch. Which is pretty deep.
Yeah, it is.
And then one night I went out alone. I know I broke a rule, but I did a live session and I went into this mud bed, okay, where I'd always find hog tracks and I'd always find Sasquatch prints in that mud bed, and I got familiar with each one of them. One night I found some tracks of one I didn't recognize, and they were 17 and a half inches long. And it was on my buddy Travis Bowen, and he said, "Why don't you walk around that mud bed and see if anything follows it?" So I walked around, and I get back to where I started, and he's like, "Get out of there now." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because I just saw him peek his head around a tree and stare at you." So I got out of there. Who knows, what it was up to. It followed me. I know in my heart it followed me around that mud bed.
Yeah, these, from my experience, this stuff, they get super close to you and they do follow you out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
Depending how
Absolutely.
close they get, for various reasons, but they can get extremely close, even in the daytime,
And
especially at night.
extremely aggressive as well. Some of them. The group I've
They can
gotten,
be. Yeah.
yeah, the group I've got in my land is very chill. They're chill. But I researched a few other spots where they get pretty mean. I mean, we've been up there. We've been up there, a bunch of times, planning on staying 3 or 4 nights. And by 3 o'clock that morning, we were gone because they'd get close to the fire, but they'd stay just out of sight. They were throwing rock boulders and logs and just pretty much telling us to get out. And
Right.
that telling us to get out, and we deal with a couple types up here. There's ones that hang around the St. Lawrence River, and they look more human. They look more like a human. They aren't built. They don't have the long arms. Okay, arms aren't as long in proportion like the other ones. They aren't as big. A big male. I talked to a lot of my native relatives, and they don't get as big. A big male will get about 700 pounds. The biggest, 600 pounds, which is still damn big.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Still.
Yeah, absolutely. And they hang out in the marshes, and they're they're a different type. No facial hair. I got a story. A guy told me. He was in his boat. It was nighttime, and he was going down the river, and he cut his engine for a certain reason, and he could hear something splashing on his left side, and he had a spotlight on him, and he put it on him. He put it in that direction, and you could see this thing. It was squatted down. It had sands in the water. When it noticed it was being lit up, it stood up, and the description he gave me was like the hair was a silverish gray, and this is going to be kind of unbelievable, but when you see some people with like pinkish skin,
Yeah.
that's what he described the skin on the face as, like like a pinkish, and it turned around and took off into the marsh. So that's a definitely a different type. I know that's two. I know I deal with up here. And maybe three. With that aggressive group. That I deal with. I in a way I don't like to go there, but the researcher in me feels like it's a duty.
Right. Well, they're aggressive by throwing stuff at you. I mean, I would say that's pretty aggressive. I mean, we've been pretty lucky and not have any type of aggressive action. Now we've had stuff thrown in response to things that we might have said and stuff, but actual aggressiveness, no, never have anything actually chucked at us,
Right.
in our general direction, landing anywhere near us. But I definitely been scared out of the woods on one occasion during the daytime. But,
During the day,
it works. That's what they want. It works.
Sure.
It gets people out, and they don't have to actually attack and actually have direct conflict with people.
Right.
That could injure them, and they don't have to kill people to have more people in the area. But it does work.
Absolutely.
And that individual might not ever come back to that area. So that's pretty effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of getting people out of the area. So
absolutely. The only time I've had a problem with this group is I interrupted a hunt one night, and two of them, I started getting acorns thrown at me and pine cones, and they wanted me out. I could tell. I had dealt with them long enough, and I knew, they wanted me out. And two of them did pace me out. So that's the only issue I've had with this group. It
You
wasn't
never know.
it wasn't boulders, but still, they're throwing something at you. They want you out.
Right, and you never know why. I mean, they could have interacted with other people who've shot at them, who really
Absolutely,
disrespected them or the land or whatever reason. Until you show them any reason for them not to really do that.
right, right. And I think one of the mistakes people make is feeding them. I'm not one of the kind of researcher that feeds them. First of all, I think it's unfair to the animal or whatever they are. What happens if I die? Someone buys that the land, and doesn't, and they end up.
Parents for a surprise, I guess.
Absolutely,
Welcome to the land of Bigfoot and the journey that we all take searching for the truth. But it can be traumatizing and very it can create victims that are fairly
absolutely,
tormented by the encounters. So not everyone
absolutely.
is enthusiastic about having encounters and research. Some people are truly horrified by these creatures and have
Yeah, I knew a guy that I went to school with, and I'd see him in the bar, and we were buddies. He'd bust my chops, about being an investigator and all that, and but his grandmother died, and he inherited the house, and he calls me one day, and he said, "Can you come down and see me? I got to talk to you." So I went down there, and he's wondering why he's got 8-foot hairy creatures running around his house, banging on his walls and screaming in his windows and all that. And he said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I busted on you all those years." Turns out, we talked to his dad, and his grandmother had been feeding a family group for about 30 years. So they were cut off cold turkey. So they messed with them. After a while, after some time, they backed off. But yeah, he
kind of got the hint, I guess.
he learned his lesson. He learned his lesson.
It happens every day with people encountering these things somewhere in the U.S. I mean,
Absolutely.
For how many encounters are actually reported, there's probably dozens more that are not ever, or just told to their families. It never actually gets reported now. So
I would think one out of every 20 maybe gets reported,
or it could be more too. Yeah.
Right? If not more. If not more. I mean, I have trouble getting witnesses to talk to me a lot of the time. I'll have to change their name, and which is not a problem. That's common. So yeah.
So I know you got a YouTube show and stuff.
Yeah.
And so what's some of the stuff that you've been working on lately, and kind of the future stuff that you kind of are hoping to successfully do in the next rest of this year and the beginning of next year?
I'm working on a book.
Awesome.
I'm kind of stuck right now. I'm having trouble deciding where to go from where I'm at now. But I'll get there. And here, I've been doing a lot of research on the land, and I found a lot of bones. here as well with the humanoid teeth marks, and I've got them right here.
Yeah, let's see them. Let's see them. What do you got?
You know, here we got a deer jaw,
Mm-hmm.
and these are all found in the same area. And right here, you're not going to be able to see them, but
Might not be able to, but the
there's
fact that
some.
you have it.
Yeah, there's some humanoid teeth marks right there. Then got this. I don't know what that is as far as a bone. I don't know what part of an animal that came from. But this has this is just covered with those humanoid teeth marks, just covered. And this is the creme de la creme as far as the teeth marks go.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
our viewers can see it, but I cannot.
Right there.
I can
Actually,
see
got
some invitations or something.
yeah, I've got a buddy that's in the military, and he works forensics, and he knows an anthropologist, and he told me to send him. He's gonna have him analyzed. I actually found another one up in Maine, and that one was unreal. I've got it somewhere here, but that one was just gnawed upon. And when I found it, there was sticks in the middle of it, like it had tried to drive out the marrow. You know what I mean? And that was pretty cool.
That is very interesting because no other animal in North America, especially, is using tools
Right.
to do anything, especially to dig out marrow. Now,
Right.
right? I mean,
You
it's
need
very
hands. You need a set of hands.
right. You need a set of hands. You got to have the intelligence to make tools to do
Right.
that. Fantastic stuff. So, tell us a little bit about your YouTube show you got going on. You have some great guests and great bunch of guys that you do the show with. Why don't you?
Yeah. We have On the Trail in Search of Living Legends, which we interview witnesses. And then we do a roundtable as well. Called the Skoogum Session Roundtable, where we just discuss topics and where we agree to disagree. It gets pretty heated every now and then.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, it does.
yeah. So we've actually got some great guests lined up coming up. So you'll have to tune in for sure. We just did one with Josh Turner, and that was an amazing interview. We got into some real weirdness, some real weirdness. Great show, But yeah. And that I'll tell you about that bird real quick.
Yeah, you were talking about before the show.
Yeah. Stacy and I, my stepdaughter, went down to the trestle, and it was a dusk, and all of a sudden, something told us to look up, and there's this bird, and dude, if it didn't have a 15-foot wingspan, it was just ungodly massive. It looked like a condor. That's what it looked like to me, anyway. And that night, I sent you this clip as we're walking out. My wife likes to go black, completely black. I don't know if she gets off on it or what, but um, I had my cell phone and I had it pointed down to the ground, and I could tell we were being followed out by a bipedal creature. And if you look close in the video, you can see run across the trail in front of us, then cut back. And all of a sudden we hear flapping, and a small bird you're not going to hear the flapping.
Right.
And it got close to this Sasquatch, and Sasquatch grabs onto it. And that's the altercation you can see in the video, with that bird going crazy, trying to get away. And the bird is so damn big, the Bigfoot couldn't hold on to it. And it took off. And we got to the end of the trail, and I picked my cell phone up, and that's when I caught a huge set of fluorescent blue eye shine. But it couldn't hold on to that bird, man, which surprised him.
Right. Well, this is in New York, right? So is this not like where
that was in North Carolina?
Okay, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
but still, it's not where like in California where there's California condors at.
Mm-hmm.
Something that could be misidentified. So I mean, it's so funny that these. It seems like these creatures interact with each other more than they interact with us, because there's several sightings of Dogman with Sasquatch, Big Bird with Sasquatch, or other things,
Right.
with other things in the same area, orbs, in the same area with
yes.
Sasquatch and our Dogman. Have you experienced any of the orbs and stuff? Because we certainly have as a research area.
Oh my god, man! Oh my god! There's a correlation. I mean, that's what I found. There's a correlation. Every
They're
time
definitely in the same areas.
Yes.
From our research that we found.
Yes.
Some areas.
Right. After the night we saw the eye shine coming out of the swamp. As we're leaving, there's a big yellow orb, and it's following us. And it was only, I'd say, 30 feet off the ground, 60 feet away, and it was following us. And my wife started talking to it, and as she would talk to it, it would get bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally it didn't go anywhere. Finally I said, let's get out of here, and I have a good feeling about this, and we left. But it's pretty cool video. Pretty cool. And then that other video I sent you last night of the Dogman or whatever these things were, I don't know, but I was filming and you could see them staring, and all of a sudden they take off in different directions, and these lights appear, come down, and you can actually see one of these things on all fours. And this is going to sound nuts, but you can review the video after and back me up on this. There is a ball of light about a foot above its snout. What's the story on that, man? That.
Right, like I said, there seems to be some type of interaction going on between multiple high strangeness, and
Absolutely.
The video was interesting. You did have a lot going on. You definitely caught some eye shine and things in the woods watching you.
Absolutely,
and lights and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
So what do you think's all? Is it all related? Is it like? I mean, we're just speculating on this. No one.
Yeah.
Really knows.
I think
what do you feel is going on, or what do you think's going on with all of this?
I think dogman phenomenon. I think there's more of a correlation with that and the lights than there is the Sasquatch and the lights. I can't explain what it is. I don't know, but through my experience, there's more lights that show up when they're around than with the Sasquatch. That's just my experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
interesting. I mean,
it is.
There's lights in the woods for sure. We've experienced that. We'll be having video coming out. We've shown pictures of lights that our friends have captured, and I've experienced lights in the woods. We've had other members experience lights, orbs flying, and it's very interesting. We got a video coming out soon of an orb or a light just flashes.
Right, exactly.
We're looking at it, we spot it, we're walking right up to it. It's still flashing, but it's not flashing when I'm walking on top of it. But then it flashes when it's, and we do capture it. Luckily, in one frame we capture it, and I don't know what it is. There's other spots where you can see the bugs. You see different bugs, and
yes,
it's definitely not the same. You can easily tell that this is a light and not a bug.
Yes, exactly.
And the light is not shining in that area anyway, so you.
Right.
Right. And we had Bigfoot activity. That night or the following night. So, is it related? We don't know. It's happening in the same area. Is it? I mean, it seems like every time you go out there and you experience stuff or things happen, it's just you're always left with more questions than answers.
Yeah, every question you answer, you open up 100 more.
Yeah, it really does with what you experience and what you see and different things. And
yeah, it really does.
That people scoff at until you see it. Same thing with Dogman with me. Is I just thought, and maybe it's misidentified Bigfoot or something until you experience it, like I did and like you did, and then, well, I mean, it's real. I mean, what do I say? I can't go back. I know it's real. So.
Right. One night I went out back, and this winter, and I was alone. Broke the rule again, but I think I sent you that video as well. I walk up to that group of creatures, whatever they were, and I sat there. I think they got in my head because I don't remember it happening. But I got it on film, and I'm actually talking to these things. And when I got back, I was going through the footage, and I'm like saying to myself, I don't remember that. So, did they do something? Get in my head, zap me?
Yeah, zapping.
That's what I think.
From our experience here at the Lost Cryptid, my own personal and our group members' experience on expeditions that we've had, they are able to do something to maybe hypnotize us and put us in type of a trance, and that you don't realize it's you feel sick and something's going on, but you don't realize what's going on, and
right.
It's very apparent.
Yes.
It's weird. I don't know. It just seems like a hypnotic trance.
It does. It does. One night there was a bunch of us out, and we were doing an investigation, and I was kneeling behind a tree, and I felt something behind me. And I turn around real quick, and I just see this flash run, bang, and it was brown. You could tell it was brown, upright, and all of a sudden I got really, really nauseous, and I started to throw up. Threw up so hard my stomach hurt. So I believe I was that, that night. You know, and that was in the spot where I was telling you where they're real they can be real nasty.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing people, and um, these things. Well, I mean, they are very patient in our area. It seems like in Michigan, from where
Mm-hmm.
we've been, we definitely have reports of them being super aggressive and actually killing people. But for the most part, they are pretty patient and very
Yeah,
curious. I think more open to trying to scare people away than outright killing them. But
yeah.
it's all situational with the people, the interaction, uh, the
What you
mood.
do when you're out there?
Yeah, the mood of the Sasquatch.
Yep.
If he's grumpy, he didn't sleep that much. I mean,
Right.
thousand different factors play into each and every encounter. Good outcome,
Ab-
bad outcome. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't want to. You don't want to mess with a bad group though that don't like people. That would never be a good interaction. I don't think so.
No.
Be careful out there, buddy. But
No, man.
yeah, it's been about an hour, guys. So we're gonna be shutting down the show here. So where can people find this stuff? I know we mentioned the Facebook group and stuff, and your YouTube.
Mhm.
Throw those names out again, and shout outs to any other people you want or any other things. And
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on. It's been an honor, man. Been
oh
an
yeah, of
honor.
course, no problem.
Um, YouTube channel. It's called the Band of Bigfoot Brethren. Um, I like I said, I work with a bunch of other guys, and we all do the YouTube channel together. We've got three seasons so far with both shows. Some good stuff. Some real weird stuff. Some great, awesome guests. So check that out. You guys are in the mood. And group is on the trail. Cryptid Paranormal Investigations.
Yep, and that's on Facebook. Great group.
Yep.
Very active group, and you're always out in the field trying to do something or going live,
Yep.
and
Yep.
having the shows is very awesome stuff.
And I believe, as researchers, it's our job to educate.
Yes, it is. Try to spread the awareness of what's
Absolutely.
really going on because of how dangerous unawareness could be in the woods.
Yes.
How unpreparedness can be your downfall in this subject.
People have, and another thing, people have no idea what's out in the woods after dark. There's more than just Sasquatch and Dogman.
Oh, there truly is. I mean, people experience other cryptids. I mean, I have.
Same here.
And it's something's going on. There's a reason why there's all these missing people in the state parks, and
There is.
it's not because of people, because those certain circumstances are very extreme and not humanly possible. Whatever
Right.
it is, it doesn't at all have to be Sasquatch or any particular
Right.
cryptid, but it's not humanly possible, which is a key element to all of it.
Right. My father was actually on one of the. He was a trooper, and he was on the Douglas leg case in the Adirondacks that Politis talks about. He was one of the investigators on that case, and he said, the dogs wouldn't track. They'd pick up a scent and they'd lay down, almost like there was something they didn't want to follow.
Yeah, that brings up a good topic. We're definitely gonna have to have you back on for another show because we definitely have more stuff to talk about. But I guess real quick, since we'll talk about the scents and stuff, this was brought up in a great group about dogs that track, can follow scents and a person running and stuff sweats and gets all their scents spread and everything. But if a Sasquatch kidnaps a person who's not sweating or adrenaline is not pumping,
Right.
and it's knocked out or something, will that scent be as effectively tracked because the individual is in a very calm state? It's not sweating. It's not doing anything hormonal that's in a fear response or rush stressful and situation. And would the dog not track Sasquatch? So is that what's happening? I think that might be somewhat of a role play in some of this.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think I think women that are having their time of the month, that are researchers, they need to be extra careful.
Oh yeah,
Because they still smell that hormonal scent a mile away. So.
oh yeah. I mean, especially the young ones growing up and becoming adult.
Yes.
They have many reports of them going after women who are
Yep.
on their monthly periods and
Mm-hmm.
in women in general or anything
Yeah.
really. They seem to be wild, like any animal actually that's in the
Yeah.
heat or the rut
Yep.
or becoming a man, adult.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
stupid and aggressive and just do whatever they want. So,
Absolutely.
but we're definitely going to have you on again, and I know you're going to have me on your show here very shortly, and
Absolutely. Can't wait, man.
yeah, we do and have a bunch of fun stuff. So it's been fun. Thank you for everyone for watching and interacting in the chat. We're gonna have another great live show tomorrow. We have two great guests. We have Tommy Cooper and Jason Tarost. They have the Cryptovania TV. Some great guys. Should be a great interview
Yeah.
for you guys.
Good guys. I'm having them on soon as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I've interviewed them both before, and they're just great.
Yeah, they seem like great guys, and they got the
Yeah.
great stuff going on for them. And so another great show for you guys tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern. So make sure you guys are all here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Blake. It was great. It's an honor.
I'm glad that finally, after all the technical issues, we finally had you on this time.
Right.
So, it's been fun. It's been fun. And so everyone, thank you. Really appreciate all the support and continue to do the great work. So stay tuned for more videos coming out. See you guys tomorrow.